Okay, it is 9 o'clock, we're going to the university, so I'm going to begin. Do you all know who I am? Fantastic. Those, I mean, there might be not some people who don't, and I love talking about myself. So, my name is Dr. Leighton Evans. Wait, what am I thinking? I have a slide. Yeah. What do I do? So, as a researcher at the university, I research virtual reality, augmented reality, and video games. That's my area of interest. I've published several books on these topics. I'm currently writing actually a media studies textbook. At some point this semester, I'll release the chapters of that textbook to you guys that are relevant to this course, so it'll give you extra reading. I've got to be honest, and this becomes more relevant next week, I haven't done the bibliographies for those chapters yet, so sorry about that. When they do come out to you, there won't be a bibliography for them, I'm sorry. But, and when I talk next week, you can point at me and say, Leighton, you're a fucking hypocrite, because you're getting us to do bibliographies for stuff and you haven't even done it yourself. Yeah, well, I'm doing it at the end, alright? So leave me alone. Okay, just leave me alone right now. I'm a general media studies specialist. So yesterday, you would have had lectures, I'm assuming, with Joanna and probably first in the morning, Elena? Yeah. Okay. So, Elena is a journalism specialist, right? Her PhD is in journalism. Her research looks at specific kinds of journalism facilitated by social media, so she has some crossover with some of the stuff I do as a researcher as well, because I started out as a social media researcher. Joanna is a film study specialist, right? Joanna's like, whoa, and she knows everything about films. And I come in and I say, Joanna, I watched this fucking amazing film on the weekend, right? The explosions, the sex scenes, amazing, right? Joanna just looks at me like I'm something that crawled out of a toilet or something like that. Because Joanna knows about films and I know stuff that I like. And those two things don't match up. I am not like Joanna or Elena. They're sane for a beginning. And they're nice people as well. It just doesn't suit me, okay? So, I'm a media studies specialist. That means that my area of research is specifically around those things, but I look at it from a media perspective. And I teach, I guess, what you would call general media studies. And the purpose of this module is to cover media studies, I guess. There are another couple of modules in the course that you have to do. In particular, at the beginning of next year, you have a compulsory module called Theorising the Media. And this is, if you like, the first part of Theorising the Media. So what you do in year 2 builds on what goes on in this module. And the entire purpose of this module is to give you a set of theoretical tools to work with every other module that you're going to be doing. The other important thing is, I, like everyone else, have office hours. One set of office hours for this week is already gone. So, today I'll be in my office 12:30 till 1:30. The door is open. Come and say hello if you've got any questions, if you have problems, if you want to start a fight with me. Come on. My life is boring. I need excitement. Bring coffee. Bring any other kind of stimulants that you can as well. That would be helpful. Do you have any questions so far? No? Fantastic. So, I'm not the only person teaching on this module, but I'm the only person who's going to be doing the lectures. So, I'm the person that has to get their sorry ass out of bed at 6 o'clock fucking morning on a Tuesday in order to come here, plaster on a fake smile and teach you guys this stuff. Because Pac and Olivia are in bed right now, living it up, thinking, that sucker Evans, he's got to come in and do this shit. Hate those people, and Chris Pack is going to have a real surprise later when I spit in his coffee mug, because that's how much I hate coming together this morning. Sean, you might think, why is there a librarian on this? Well, the reason being, in week 3, when you do seminars, which are Thursdays and Fridays, and you should have all been allocated to a seminar group, but if you haven't, catch me at the break and I will sort that out for you. Sean will come in week 3 and give you a library induction in the seminar, which means you don't have to go and do one yourself at the library. So Sean Helpfully will come and do that. And Sean's pretty cool as well. Sean Barr, I have to put his name down on this. Can't believe I'm recording all this stuff. I've never met Sean. I don't know, I might have like sat next to him in something. I have no clue where that guy is, but he's really important apparently, so I have to put his name on everything. So, with regards to the seminars, I will take one of them. I'm doing Thursday 10 AM. Olivia is going to do Thursday 1 and 2 o'clock. And Chris is going to do whichever one's there on Friday. I don't know the times. I should know the times, but I can't remember what they are. Does anyone know when the seminars are on Friday? No? Fantastic. If you're not sure what seminar group you're in, you can look it up in theory on the timetabling app. It should have been timetabled for you. But if you enter that timetabling app and there's nothing there, drop me an email. Tell me what your preferred time is, and you can find the details of those on Canvas for this module, and in the module handbook. It's like on the 3rd page of the module handbook. Just tell me what your preferred time is, and I'll get you put onto that time. That goes if you want to change as well. Say you're working on Friday, so you can't go in on Friday. If you want to go on Thursday one, just let me know, and I'll have a swap code. Okay? It takes like a minute to get you swapped, so just let me know. Okay. I didn't say welcome. I'm really sorry. It's not that I don't care, it's just that I don't care. Welcome, everyone, to Swansea University. But this isn't the first lecture you've done anyway, so I'm sure you've had this off Joanna and Elena yesterday, if you took Elena's module as well. But welcome. I hope you all feel the warm embrace of the institution at this point. Now, let's talk about things. Has anyone got any first impressions that they wish to share with me and the rest of the group on Swansea University so far? You don't have to put your hand up, just shout.
The locations are a bit random.
The locations are a bit random. Do you know why that is? Because the people who planned this campus are insane. Anyone else?
It rains all the time.
It does rain all the time. Swansea is the wettest city in the United Kingdom, which puts it pretty high on a global list. I am from Swansea, and I know people that I grew up with, went to school with, who've evolved to have gills. So that might be useful for you. It does rain all the time, but you've got to take into account that it's now autumn. And it does rain all the time in autumn. It also rains all the time in winter, spring, and summer. So get used to it. Yeah. We did have a sunny day. It was great. I really enjoyed it. I went down the beach. It was amazing. The beach looks nice, right? Don't go in the water. Okay? Unless you want hepatitis C, do not go in the water down there. Go past Mumbles onto the Galway, go to any of the beaches down there, and it's fine. Do not go in the water down there. You will be ill. Okay? And also, don't go barefoot on that beach as well, because there's a lot of syringes on that beach. There is major error. Anyone else got anything they want to share? Okay, not. Sorry, I need to transfer out this one. It's a lovely place too. Okay. Alright, well, I feel like I've done my bit for welcoming. So good. Fantastic. I'm going to take you through this module in some depth. The reason why this module is technically, although not in actuality, more important than the modules you started yesterday, is because this is one of the 2 core modules that you have on a media degree. Doesn't matter what degree you're doing. If you're doing the journalism degree, if you're doing the PR degree, if you're doing the just media, if you're doing joint honours. This is actually what we call a core module. And what that means is you have to pass this module to progress. If you fail another module, that's not a great thing, but you can tolerate a fail. don't worry about all this. This is going to be irrelevant to my notes. Nobody wants you to fail the module. That's a very important point. But you have to pass this module, okay? Because otherwise, if you don't have this module on your credit list, you can't actually be awarded a degree at the end of your degree. So you have to do it. So you might as well take some time to go through it in some depth. Did anyone show you this slide yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah? Good. I'm not going to linger on it today. Does anyone know what academic integrity is? No? Fantastic. Let's leave it there. First of all, the most important thing to do is to familiarise yourself with this part of the Canvas system. MS100, the Canvas site. So I'm going to come out of the presentation very quickly and just have a look at this. What we'll do on Thursday and Friday in the seminars is, I've asked Olivia and Chris to do this as well, is go through this very carefully in terms of what are the most important things that you need to do. But because this is a core module, it has learning objectives which every person has to achieve. Now, in order to do that, you have to complete every part of the course. That means I have to rig this Canvas site up to make sure that it is evidenced that you have done every part of this course, which means you have to do something every week to unlock the next week. That means if you get to the end of it, you've done the course effectively, okay? It's not that I'm asking you to do very much though, that's important. So I just want to talk about this really briefly here. You can find seminar information here if you don't know anything about your seminars. Basically the times and the dates and who's taking them. Okay, so especially if you want to have a change of one, you may have a look at that. This might look a little different to you guys from how you see it because I've got it on lecturer view rather than student view. Most important thing at the moment, and thank you to all of those that have read the module handbook so far, and obviously I know why, because those of you who've read it will know why I know that you have done it, because you have done the thing that was asked to be done in the module handbook, right? So, if you don't read this, the course doesn't unlock. What that means is, you can't do any of the assignments for the course, which means you fail. So you do have to read this. So get it ready. If you haven't done it yet, that is your task for today. You have to read this document. It took me fucking ages to do this document. It is about 10,000 words in length, so you better respect my authority and what I am talking about here. On the plus side, I recommend a textbook for this course called Media, Culture and Society, An Introduction by Paul Hodgkinson. And there's a free copy of it right there. All you have to do is click that and you have a free copy of it. If anyone wants a paper copy of one, this is what the book looks like. This one, in my hand right now, is available to you for the very cheap sum of £10. This is from a student who graduated last year. She asked me to sell the textbooks for her when she graduated. Can you imagine how sad you are? She's not going to watch this, but can you imagine how sad you are to turn up at your graduation with a little carrier bag full of books and go up to your lecturer and say, can you sell these for me? So that is sad. Bless her. So if anyone wants this, come and see me, give me £10. I promise I will pocket the money, but I will then PayPal the money to this person. I do promise I will do that. Now, assignment 2, don't worry, I will get to this. You have to read this document very, very soon. Okay, but we will talk more about that on Thursday. And then, I just want to come down here to week 1. Each week, I'm going to ask you to do 3 things. They never change, these 3 things. Okay? I want you to have a look at the overview. So you literally click on it, have a read, click out. 1-minute task. I want you to download the slides that I've done in the lecture. You may have a look at them, you may just skim through them. It's up to you, but I want you to do it because it gets you in the habit of actually looking at the materials. And there is a weekly reading task each week. None of those weekly reading tasks takes longer than about 15 minutes. Okay? but it is something to build on your knowledge that you get from each lecture. Once you've done those 3 things every week, the next week unlocks, and the next week unlocks, and the next week unlocks. There is always one person in the first week who completes the entire course. There's always one. I don't know why they do it. It's like, we're not getting onto that until like December, but they always like think, oh, I gotta do the whole thing, I gotta do the whole thing. Oh my God, if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. And I understand I'm also like deeply afflicted with ADHD as well. But take it easy, just give yourself like 20 minutes every week to do these things and it will click on to the next thing. Any questions so far? That is literally all you have to do. In order to evidence that you have covered all the material in this course, which is an important part of completing this as a core module, that's all I'm asking you to do, is to access those 3 things. It will click, click, click through. Are we clear so far? Any questions? Has anyone not got access to this yet? No? Fab. Okay. These are the learning outcomes for the module. These are the things that we have to evidence that you've done in order to progress, right? So you've got to demonstrate an introductory understanding and deployment of key terms, for example, representation, text, discourse. That comes through assignments 3 and 4 of this module. That's where we evidence that. Demonstrate awareness and knowledge of authors, assignment 2, 3 and 4. Discuss some aspects of change in the media, assignment 4. Successfully complete a set essay, assignment 4. Demonstrate a range of relevant study skills, assignment 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the assignments cover all of these different outcomes which you have to do. So if you complete all the assignments successfully, tick them all off, you've done all those things. Fantastic. Go on to year 2, be happy, go on to year 3, graduate, find a good job, get a nice house, get a lovely partner, get a pet dog, get a nice electric car, no petrol or diesel. Have a nice tree in the garden which you can put a swing on. Have a dartboard in the shade. Have a beautiful Apple computer. And have a happy life. Don't complete all those. Have none of those things. Have a deficit. Have to urinate into the sink. Have a poorly paid job on a 0 hours contract. Have to buy all your clothes in Sports Direct. Do not go to Costco. Do not collect £200. Be one of the people that is in the crowd for programs like Jeremy Culture, sadly deceased. But there will be a new Jeremy Culture. So basically, do all these things. The passport to a happy future unlocks you. Don't do all these things. You end up like me, bitter and twisted. These are the things that we are going to cover. Now, at this point, I want to do 2 things. Firstly, can everyone please stand up? Now, can somebody answer me this question? Why did you just do that? Yeah. Social pressure by what? So you waited for them all to do it and then you thought, I'm not going to say. That's conformity in action. Be your own person. Can anyone can anyone else tell me why you all did that? Because I have authority over you. Okay, everyone sit down. I have authority over you. Firstly, get that out of your heads right now. I do not want authority over you. What I want is for you to take authority for yourselves. Okay? I am not the person in authority here. Believe me, if any of you had any knowledge of my personal life, you would think, he hasn't even got authority over himself. This man is a mess. No. Do not blindly listen to things that I tell you. Question them. This is important. This is why you are here. You are not here to blindly parrot the nonsense that the person in front is telling you. You are here to question it. So, if you have questions or points, what should one do in the lecture? Fantastic. That would be a great start. Answer the question. Challenge what is being said. I welcome it. Last year I got in some blazing arguments because people made some really stupid points and it was quite funny. But it is not about me arguing with you. I want you to start thinking in this way. You are not here to be told what to do. You are here to find out for yourself, to gain knowledge for yourself, and if necessary, challenge the things that you are being told. It doesn't just go for me, it goes for every other course as well. Blind obedience to what is being said out the front leads to blind obedience in what you produce afterwards, and nobody wants that. When we go forward from here, nobody wants that. So, the topics in this module, if you like, are a way that empowers you to actually do that in lectures. What I want you to do with this material from week 4 is use this material as the very foundation of how you are going to be a critical thinker in this field. Okay? So I have selected these topics specifically because they will cross over with pretty much every other module that you will do as a student in the next 3 years, and will give you critical insight into what is being discussed in lectures, what you will be asked to do in assignments, etc. Just before we get to that though, what you will note is first 3 weeks are not topic specific. Over the years, over the last 5 years I guess, when we've had meetings about the degrees that we run at Swansea, there have been frequent, I don't want to say complaints, but it has been complaints, by my colleagues that it's not that students aren't good, and that's never actually been said, but that we expect at university you all to be able to do things with no evidence that you've ever been asked to do them before. Okay, so there's an assumption made, right, that, you know, it's like this thing with Canvas, right? We put this system together and say, right, just give it to students, with an assumption that you know how to use it. It's like, well, actually, do you know what? Canvas is a really, really dreadful system. The person who put it together, it's not right. Okay, and what we call the user experience of it, the UX, is absolutely dreadful. That's why this week we take some time in the seminars to go through it. Okay, because the assumption is you should be able to jump in and use this straight away. That's just an assumption, it's not good. So we take the first 3 weeks of this module and dedicate it to things that you will have to do, basically in the next 3 years. Next week, I'll go over academic practice and what that actually means. So I know there was this thing that you were showing yesterday with the QR code that asks you what you know about it. Well, next week I'll try and give you a demystify it. When we say academic practice, I will go over that next week, and indeed academic mispractice as well, because it's good to know so you don't do it. Week 3, I'm going to tell you how to get what you want. Every one of you has enrolled in your respective degree course with one thing in mind. I want to have a first-class degree. Isn't that true? None of you have enrolled here thinking, I want to have a failed degree. I want to spend $27,000 in tuition fees and God knows how much on maintenance loans so I can fail my degree. Did anyone do that? I would respect you greatly if you are going to crash and burn like that. That is, you know, self-destruction is more impressive than self-improvement, but I don't think anyone ever does that. Nobody's actually voting and thinking, do you know what, next 3 years, I just want to get a mediocre degree that's not going to get me a good job afterwards. Nobody does that. Week 3, I will be going through exactly what the expectations are and how you can meet them in order to meet the requirement of having a very, very good degree. Then, from week 4, 5, I actually get onto the interesting stuff. So we do actually 2 weeks of political economy, because the political economy of the media has transformed over the years. So we start with mass media, then we go into digital media, then we look at cultural studies, medium theory, discourse analysis, semiotic analysis, and then audience theory. And that should cover the main building blocks theoretically that you need for the entire degree. Do you have any questions about the content? Just by a show of hands, and this isn't one of these conformity things, this is a genuine question. Has anyone studied media studies before? Okay, the vast majority of you. Now, you will note that you have studied some of these topics previously. Great. I am happy with that, but let me give you a kind of a warning. And the best exemplified by lecture 10 on semiotics. Most people in this room will have studied semiotics before. I am not accusing your teachers or lecturers that you had previously of being stupid or wrong, but I guarantee you have been taught that wrong. I absolutely guarantee it. I also, and again, I am not accusing my colleagues of being stupid or idiotic, but I guarantee you're going to be taught it wrong. This institution as well. Semiotics is not the study of, oh look, red means anger. That is not what it is. Semiotics is an actual scientific approach to understanding the construction of meaning. So, in that lecture, I will go through how that approach began, how that approach developed, how you deploy that approach, and how you link semiotics to the ideological critiques that I look at in week 7 in order to actually write an essay that is semiotically informed. That you haven't done before. So, my point here is, yes, I recognise that you have done some of these topics before. They are going to take a leap up. And there is going to be more stuff. And it is going to be, if you like, more difficult, but my job is to try and make it not difficult. That's what I'm here for. Okay? And it's not like I'm an amateur at this. I've been doing this shit for 20 years. I can do this. No problem. It's all right. Do you have any questions about any of this? Fantastic. Alrighty then. Move, jerk. Don't make me come in there. Okay. Let's have a look at the assessments for this module, because this is what causes people stress. So, everyone take a note of this. Wednesday, 18th of October, you are going to be doing an exam. Do you know why I celebrate so much? The exam method is the only thing that I don't have to actually mark, because the computer does it for me. You are going to be doing an exam, but it is an exam with a difference, people. It is an exam with a difference. I will go over the exam topic next week. It's about referencing. I'm going to be testing you on your knowledge, which you may not have any yet, don't worry, of the APA version 7 referencing system, which is the one we use in this department and in the School of Culture and Communication. Please, do not worry if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about at this point. Everything will be revealed. The examination is 20 questions. You will be able to access it on Canvas on that day with the requirement that you have completed week 1 and week 2 of course, because you won't be able to unlock it otherwise. You have as long as you want to do this exam on that day. The exam becomes active at midnight on that day, so the middle of the night, and it shuts down 1 minute to midnight at the end of the day. So there's basically a 24-hour spell in which you can do this. I would estimate that to do the 20 questions, it will take between 15 and 20 minutes. Probably less than that. Probably you could get it done in 10 if you know what you're looking at. It's not hard. And here is why it's even easier than it should be. this is not in any kind of exam conditions. You can do this wherever you like. You can have the referencing guide, which is available on Canvas, open. All the answers are within. This is not, I don't want you to learn this verbatim to do this. I want you to study the referencing guide before you do this. It will make it easier. But you may have the referencing guide open. I don't care. You can do this with other people. I really don't care. I just want you to do it. I want you to have read the referencing guide and shown me that you've understood what this system is. That's all. As far as I'm concerned, you can put the answers into ChatGPT if you want and see which ones you are. By the way, you'll fail if you do that because ChatGPT is really stupid for things like this, so you will fail. Nobody has ever failed this. Okay? One person ever got 40. That person did not complete the degree. The average mark last year was 77. Okay, so that gives you an indication. Now, that's not actually very good, 77, because in reality, everyone should get 100 for this. This is really, really easy. Okay, and last year I think about 10 people got 100, which makes me think that people really don't take this seriously, or they kind of don't read the questions clearly. So just take a moment when you're doing it, read what the question says, pick the right answer. It's really straightforward. This is an easy way to start assessment at university. Everyone should get first at this. Okay? So everyone should get this. Most important things that actually do come up about this assessment is, one, I can't access it, or two, the test timed out when I was doing it. If you can't access it, you need to let me know and I will make sure that you can access it. Okay? Two, that one, it timed out, or my computer went down, or there was a crash or something like that. That's more serious because it will actually log the score that you had when that happened. Every year, like 1 or 2 people have this problem where they get booted out of the test and they've got like 2 or something. I can reset it. So all you have to do is email me and I will reset that for you. I've given an entire day on a Wednesday to do this. Once this has ever happened, somebody could not complete the test on that day, and it was a very valid reason. If somebody has a valid reason why they cannot do this on a Wednesday, please let me know. I will set it for you on another day. That takes me like a minute to do. Okay, I would much rather do that than actually have you not have 10% of this module's marks. If you've got any questions about this, honestly, it's really easy. I've redone the questions this year for it. I've actually made them easier because there was 1 or 2 questions last year which you could have argued, oh, that's a little bit ambiguous. I've taken those out and replaced them with this. So this is really straightforward. I want everyone to get 100% for this. Okay? As I said, you've got as much time as possible. Take an hour over it if you want to. Put some music on, Netflix on, whatever. Okay? This is not a pressure situation. Do you have any questions? No? Content for that we'll go over next week. Okay, I will go through in the lecture the APA referencing style, and we will go over it in the seminars as well. It sounds like overkill, but it really isn't overkill. In the first year, we kind of tolerate, to a certain degree, poor referencing. We will pick you up for it, and we will take marks off for you. But we will indicate where you're making mistakes. When you get to the second year, that stops. If you can't use the referencing system in the second year and you keep on making mistakes, you're likely to fail your assignments. It is a fundamental part of academic work that you reference sources correctly in the proper style that you do it. Again, that sounds scary. This ain't hard. This really isn't difficult. And it's a bit like just learning how to put something and format it correctly. That's all. There's nothing more to it than that. You just got to learn, this is how it looks like when I'm writing. This is how it looks like in the bibliography. That's it. Okay, it's not anything more than that. Okay. If you have any problems with it, please let me know, and I'll just reset it. You can just start again. People can have as many attempts as this as they want, but they have to let me know. Okay? If you get a question wrong, I'm not resetting it for you. Fuck you, alright? Okay. Now, assignment 2, I don't have a date for this assignment yet. Now, the reason being, last year, and I don't know if Joanna and Elena gave you assessment dates yesterday, they might well have. The reason why I'm not doing this is because last year, in the first lecture, I gave the assignment dates out to students. Then the assessment office changed all the freaking dates. Do you remember this? Yeah. And alright, it wasn't the end of the world, but it's undue and stress that people don't need when you think, I've got to do it for this date, and then all of a sudden you're told I've got to do it for this date. I just don't want to do that. I am waiting on the confirmation of those dates, and I will give you the dates for these as soon as possible. One thing I can say, this will be the first week of November. Okay? This will be due sometime the week before study week. So study week is the week commencing the 6th of November. So I'm hoping 30th, 31st, 2nd. What I've submitted for this is the 2nd of November at 2 p.m. But I can't, with good grace, I'm not going to put that at the moment because. So, this is an individual assignment, as all the assignments on this module are. I am going to ask you to read a chapter from a book. The book is called Media Studies 2.0 by Dr. William Merrin, who is a colleague of mine from Bard. I was William's proofreader for this chapter, so I know it pretty well. When he wrote this book, he asked me to proofread it for him. I'm going to ask you to read this chapter. This chapter is 34 pages long. It's a pitch. This chapter covers the history of media studies as a discipline. That's why I asked you to read it. It will cover everything that you know. Are you locked in?
I don't know.
Wow. Special answer. You are going to have to summarize this chapter in no more than 500 words. Okay? Before we get to this, we will do a seminar on what you need to do for summarising. But if you want to take a note of this right now, you can. A summary only needs to do two things. It needs to indicate what the main argument of something is and how the author reached that argument. The main argument of this chapter can be found not at the beginning of the chapter, but on page 23. So I'll give you a heads up right now. Don't go straight to page 23 because it won't make any sense. But the main argument of this chapter comes later in it. You will have to read all the stuff beforehand. So what I want you to do in this summary is tell me what William's main argument is and how he reached that conclusion. That's all I want you to do. You will have to reference this, but the only reference you're really going to need is Merrin 2014 page number. Okay? William references a lot of other people in this chapter, but if you want to talk about some of the other people we talk about, like for example Paul Lazarsfeld, you would say Lazarsfeld date in Merrin Ruby. Once you've done the referencing, this will make sense. Quickly, obviously, you only have one entry. Merrin W 2014 Media Studies 2.0 session. That's it. Okay. Basically, what is the main argument and how do they reach it? That's all I want you to do. Okay, let's do a bit about AI here. I attempted this using 3 different AI programs. None of them got it right. I would have failed all 3 of those answers. I wouldn't even bother, to be quite honest with you. It was nonsense. It was like, the summary was basically, they took significant lines out and put it together, and it didn't make any sense, the summary of the chapter at all. Somebody tries to use AI for this, I can't see any, and I've tried it a few times when they've done different iterations of ChatGPT, it's still spitting out absolute nonsense. I wouldn't risk it if I was you, because it doesn't look like it can actually do this task. So, because it doesn't identify what the argument is, because I don't really think ChatGPT knows what an argument is either. So, if you were tempted to use AI for this, I wouldn't, because it just won't work. It's not got anywhere near a passing one yet, and I tried this last week, with exactly this, and it's just like, it was terrible. So please don't. On the subject of AI, we get to assignment 3. The due date for this will be the first week of December, but again, I can't give you the exact date because I've not been given it by the assessment office, but it will be in the first week of December. This is the first time I've asked any students to do this, but I have put a model answer of this on campus already, which is there for anyone to access. I wrote that model answer. Okay, so, I mean, I give myself a first, and there might be some bias, I probably won't be allowed to mark it, but I don't mind you saying, you know, I don't want to beat myself up, but it's a fucking amazing answer to this question. So, what I want you to do for this is use ChatGPT to produce a definition of a key term. I will give you the key term that I want you to write about. Okay, so sometime around week 4, once enrollment is actually closed down and know what the absolute final class list looks like, I'll produce a random list of topics for everyone, and I will post them up on campus. So, for example, you could be given, I don't know, conspicuous consumption, which is something we talk about. You will have to use ChatGPT to produce a definition of that term. Pretty easy so far, right? You're just going to go in and say, define the term. Then I want you to write a 250-word commentary on that definition, telling me what's good or bad about it. At this point, we need to understand a very important term. Can anyone tell me what the word critical means? Don't all rush. Take your time. Fantastic. You're going to hear the word critical a lot over the next 3 years. So it's useful to understand what it means right now. Critical comes from the German word Kritik, which means review. In English, critical refers to an analysis which is informed by theory and evidence. So whenever you see the word critical, automatically know that critical refers to using evidence, theory, etc. So when I'm asking you to do a 250-word critical analysis of that definition, I'm asking you to use relevant academic material from media studies to show what that definition does and doesn't do. And what you will find is, for each of you, the ChatGPT definition does not meet the standards of what we expect the definition to be for media studies. So, in order to produce this 250 words, you are going to have to do a little bit of academic research. That can be very simple. You can use the course handbook, the textbook, to look up the term in that textbook if you wish. Just use the index. And you will see that actually it's much more detailed, much more precise, and has academic evidence which is attached to it. Very, very straightforward, right? You might think, what the hell is the point of this? The point of this is this. When you do even descriptive writing in academic terms, you will need to refer to academic sources to do that. So this is an exercise just to get you used to the fact that even for the most basic things, like defining a term, you have to refer to the academic literature to do that. This never ends. I've been an academic for a long, long time now. I still have to do this. Everything I do. The last book that I brought out had 700 references in it. That's a bitch. So you do have to get used to this. Again, I hope everyone just blitzes this. This is not difficult. Do have a look at the model answer. I wish I could give you more student examples of this, but this has never been asked in this form before. This has come as a response from not just the department, but also the School of Culture and Communication, that we need to get more critical sort of evaluation of using AI into modules. So I've put this together to do that. In that case, though, I don't have anything to show you from students who've done before, because they haven't done it before. So there is at least an answer there. I might do another couple as well, just to, you know, give you some working ideas of how this works. Do you have any questions about this? No? Okay. Assessment 4 will come after Christmas. The due date I have asked for, I think, is the 11th of January. The questions are in the module handbook right now. You can have a look at them. Decide if you want which one you're going to do. There are a set of essay questions in there. For this, what I want you to do is, it's a 3-part assignment essentially, but the much most important part is the 2,000 word essay. On your assignment though, you will be submitting, what I say is a guideline is a 500 word plan. However, I will not be counting the words of your plan. I just want to see that you put some effort into making a logical plan for something. If you submit an image instead, because that's how you like to plan your work, I'm happy with that. It doesn't have to be good. A 2,000 word essay fully referenced with a bibliography. The bibliography does not count towards the 2,000 words. And a reflection of 250 words on the feedback you have received so far in this module. So for assignments 2 and 3, you will have feedback. That feedback is probably going to be voice feedback for these things. So I want you to listen to that feedback and tell me, what have you done to address it in this? And then I'll be able to look and say, well, you said you're going to improve your referencing. Have you actually done that? And if I say yes, and result. This is to try and get you to engage with feedback. I mean, people, actually, weirdly, over the last couple of years, people got a lot better with this, but like, it doesn't happen in all disciplines, and unfortunately, we have to react to how bad other disciplines are sometimes. It's like, history department comes and says, nobody reads our feedback, and says, yeah, nobody actually goes to your lectures either, because they're really fucking boring. So, you know, you've got bigger problems, but because of this, we have to build a mechanism to do stuff. So, again, the plan and the feedback reflection, no stress, okay? Really, really straightforward things. I just want to see what you've done. Planning an essay should be the first thing you do every time. And then the vast amount of this comes out of the 2,000 word essay. But I also recognise it's the end of a really intense and quite difficult semester for a lot of people, where there's a lot of readjustment going on to being at university, you know, etc., etc. I'm not going to be harsh, okay? I want to see that you've understood the material. That's the key thing for me. If you've understood the material, you've been able to make some critical analysis, etc., you'll do just fine. Now, before we move on, has anyone got any questions at all? Are you all happy so far? I know this is boring as. Believe me, I'm more bored than you are. You can find details of these key texts in the module handbook. These are the ones I recommend for this module. If anyone would like an electronic copy of any of these, ask. Okay, you could go to the library, you could just ask me, I would send you one. As long as you don't ask me where I got it from, then it's fine, right? If you don't ask me that, I won't have to lie to you. And then everyone will be happier, because I don't like lying to people. Okay? You are expected to read outside of lectures. That's why I provide you with weekly reading tasks for this module. I give you the textbook to have a look at things. I would start by reading William's book chapter for assignment 2. Okay, that's really, really important. But I do give you key reading each week in the module handbook. If you look at the breakdown week by week, there is always a key reading, usually taken from this textbook. I don't stray very far away from this textbook on this module. Until my textbook comes out next year, I'm going to keep on using that. And then I can make everyone buy my textbook and I can get some fat fucking royalty checks. And that is going to be sweet as. Attendance at lectures is really important. My attendance in lectures cannot be guaranteed with this shit at this time. I don't know why people hate me so much. I got some really good ideas why people hate me so much. The really good idea is why the timetabling team really hate me so much, because I used to steal from their office all the time. When we were in Keir Hardy building, there was some good shit in their office, and I used to steal, especially like, they always had boxes of like celebrations and heroes. So when they were going out, I'd just go in and rob those. They knew it was me, so that's why they put me at 9 o'clock, right? Attendance is important. Let me show you why. This, my friends, is a linear regression of, very simply put, attendance at the key seminars and lectures and performance in assignment 2 last year. That is only from like 1 year ago. What you can see here is a clear positive relationship between turning up and doing well, and then not turning up and doing pretty badly. I'm not making this shit up. This is it. This actually, weirdly, you all know Richard Thomas now, right? The head of department. Richard asked me last year, could you do something like this for every module? So I did it, and like, we're never going to show you those graphs, because for some modules, like, that line was inverted. It's like people who didn't turn up did pretty fucking well, and people who turned up and like did really badly. Like, shit. So we've actually, I hope we fixed those modules. That was the big problem. We've like done something to them to make them a little bit more exciting, because it seemed like people who were going to them were losing the will to live, and then doing really badly. Anyway, we fixed that. And also, one of the teachers of those modules wasn't even in our department as well, so we're going to blame a different department for all that shit. Right? You were actually. Attendance is really important. The biggest correlation between achievement and success is attendance. This timetable on with attendance, I've already got one person asleep. I'm barely awake, so it is not easy. But please, if you can't attend, at least watch that recording. Okay, that is important. APA referencing guide is on Canvas for you. Please use it, and obviously it's going to be important in a couple of weeks' time. We shall now have a 10-minute break, and then I'm going to tell you why you're here. Not like in the wider, spiritual sense, but in the
You later unlock your